Only silence spread around. She had been sitting in the car for almost 10 minutes, with the air conditioning on cold, but the atmosphere was still silent and tense. She glanced at Kurafat occasionally, only to see him staring at his phone screen, as if he were reading something. This only made her feel more restless. She called her to wait, but she was really just waiting. She didn't even exchange a word with her. She didn't know how to act in this situation. After all, no matter how long she waited, the friend she mentioned would pick her up would never show up. How could he, if that person never existed in the first place? But asking to leave on her own didn't seem like a viable option either. Benita had no idea what Kurafat was thinking or expecting by getting involved with someone of lower social class like her. Did she think it was fun to help her, just to give her false hope? Or, even worse, did she want to make her believe that there was something special between them? You've looked at me several times without saying anything. Kurafat spoke without taking her eyes off her phone. It wasn't surprising. After all, it was just the two of them there, in such a small space. How could she not notice that she was the target of his gaze? I'm just curious. The young woman bit her lips, pondering whether or not she should express her doubt. Curious about what? What makes someone of your standing care about me? You could just ignore me. It wouldn't make a difference to you if I got wet in the rain or walked home with just anyone. Benita's comment made Kurafat's fingers pause for a moment before she swiped the screen again, as if nothing had happened. I'm really curious. She repeated, making it clear that she meant what she said. Her life was not a game or an act of charity for anyone. When you see a wet kitten in the rain, what do? Maybe you just look and think, what a shame, but there's nothing I can do. I hope you find shelter soon. Benita bit her lip. She tried to imagine the scene and realized that, yes, she could act exactly like that, or maybe not. After all, her own life was uncertain. But I would approach the cat. Even if I got wet in the rain, that wouldn't be a problem. I can go home and dry myself off later. I can take care of myself. Are you implying that I don't know how to take care of myself? Did I say that? Your comparison makes me understand that. Are you a kitten by any chance? You are yourself. Rain or shine, you are not that cat. You can protect yourself from the rain, but you don't. How could I not? She always did everything she could to take care of herself. But sometimes life didn't offer many choices, no matter how much she wanted to decide her own destiny. Since she grew up, Benita only knew one straight path. There were never any shortcuts, detours to the left or right. His path was unique and limited. Does my situation amuse you? No, your situation just awakens my protective older sister instinct. Benita frowned. Did you even ask if I want an older sister? I'm an only child. Kurafat's brow twitched. The Benita at work and the Benita outside of work were completely different. At work, she was gentle and smiling, but now she showed all her stubbornness. So what? What do you mean, so what? You're invading my personal life. SHH. Kurafat gestured for her to be quiet, not giving her a chance to continue her rebellion. His cell phone vibrated loudly, followed by a call from a number he couldn't ignore. Yes, Mom. Queen, where are you? Can you come home for a moment? Now. They said you haven't returned to your apartment yet. Come by for a while. Your father wants to talk about work. I'm not available. Besides, I already told Mom not to let anyone interfere in my personal life. Kurafat's firm voice carried a tone of weariness. She was already exhausted by her mother's constant impositions. No matter how much she did, it never seemed to be enough. What more did her mother want from her? When would this control finally end? Mr. Wasson is only concerned about your safety. The elections are coming, and you should be more cautious. Wasson was the name of her stepfather, who was also a politician. Because of this, her family was always in the spotlight, even though she was not related by blood to him. Whenever she attended events or went somewhere, the title that accompanied her was always the same. Mr. Wasson's stepdaughter. Kurafat sighed, looking at the clock. It was almost dawn, which only irritated her even more. Her stepfather scheduled meetings whenever he wanted. Was she really his employee to have to cater to his every whim? I can't go and tell people to stop waiting for me at the condominium. I won't be going back there tonight. Please, daughter, come. Your father just wants to talk quickly. Has your husband realized that this is a time for rest? No one discusses work now. If you come, I promise I won't bother you for a while. I'll also stop him from sending someone after you. Don't make him lose consideration for you, dear. At these words, Kurafat looked to the side, where Benita was sitting quietly, almost curled up. She sighed. It seemed she couldn't continue pretending to wait for her friend. Okay, see you at home. As soon as the call ended, Kurafat leaned over to buckle Benita's seatbelt. The movement was so quick and unexpected that the girl nearly sank back into the seat, startled by his sudden proximity. W, what are you doing? Have you never worn a seat belt? You could just ask. I'd put it in myself. If I asked, you just ask a bunch of questions about why. Of course, I have the right to ask. Kurafat frowned. What kind of girl was that? While others feared her and didn't even dare to look at her, Benita not only held her gaze, but also boldly responded to every sentence. So why did you put the belt on for me? For your safety. Because I'm going to drive. But I'm waiting for a friend. Don't lie. If you lie once, you will have to keep lying to cover up the first lie. It will become a habit that is hard to break. Benita bit her lips. If she had known all along, why hadn't she said anything? Would she have waited with her all night if no one had called for her? Stop using that friend excuse. Just tell me where to take you. Right here. You can leave me here and go on your way. Kurafat frowned. Benita didn't seem to understand the situation. If I had intended to leave her alone, why would I have made her get in the car? But I want to go on my own. At this time of night. I've come home alone much later than that. I'll take her. I appreciate your kindness, but I don't want to be a bother. I don't want your pity, your compassion, or anything like that. I can take care of myself. Kurafat watched her silently. Benita had a determined, stubborn face. Her fingers tapped rhythmically on the steering wheel, as if she was pondering something. If you won't tell me where your house is, then come with me. What? Benita looked at her, perplexed. She had said so much, and in the end, it seemed like her words had gone in one ear and out the other. She didn't want to get used to this kind of momentary care. Would taking me home make you feel better? I'm not a toy to satisfy your big sister instincts, Queen. Why are you so mad at me, babe? Why do you insist so much on putting yourself below others? I'm not mad. I just don't understand why you care so much about me. I'm just a waitress. We don't even really know each other. And why shouldn't I care? Who are you to stop me? If you don't want to care about yourself, that's your problem. But this is my life. And when did I ask you to give me your life? I'm not here to help you all the time, only in the moments when we meet. If you're so unhappy about it, I won't insist. Kurafat began to feel irritated. He didn't understand why his genuine concern seemed to be being misinterpreted, so he quickly drove to a bus stop not far from Benita's workplace. The sound of the doors unlocking echoed in the car. Kurafat didn't say anything else, nor did he even look to see Benita unbuckle her seatbelt and get out. He only realized that when the car door closed again and the seat next to her was empty, she sped up and drove off without hesitation. The young woman glanced at the petite girl's reflection in the rearview mirror, then took out her cell phone to call her trusted assistant. Yes, boss. Are you still following me? Yes, I'm near the bus stop. Kurafat let out a dry laugh at his ability to always predict her actions. Take her home safely. Understood. I'll let you know when she arrives. While Kurafat was irritated by the rejection, Benita just pursed her lips in silence. If you asked her if she was angry or frustrated, the answer would be simple. She didn't understand Kurafat, she didn't know what she wanted, and most of all, she didn't see any reason for all the concern. They were just strangers who had met a few times. Why did Kurafat care so much? Benita was furious because Kurafat was offering her exactly what she had always wanted from her own family. She was angry with herself for fearing that it was all just a fun game for this woman. And in the end, she felt like a fool who was revolted even by her own existence. Benita arrived home at almost 2 in the morning. The environment was silent. Any noise was enough to make her jump, not to mention the looks from the drunks who were sitting drinking outside the gate. "Beautiful, why are you so late?" Kem's voice came from behind, making the girl flinch and clutch her bag to her chest. The strong smell of alcohol coming from him made her even more alert. "I was working." The boy frowned. "I already told you that you don't need to work. I can support you. How much do you want? I'll talk to my mother." "Kem, we are friends." "But I want you to be my wife." "You don't need to waste time studying or working. You can drop everything. My mother has already talked to yours." Benita frowned. "What did you talk about?" The night before, she and her mother had a huge fight because her mother had taken all her money without permission. She thought she had hidden it well, but in the end, she had failed to fool her mother. Now, she had to deal with this conversation that had happened without her knowledge. "Kem, you're not making sense. Go to sleep. We'll talk about this tomorrow." The boy grabbed her wrist and pulled her hard. Given the difference in height and physique between the two, if he wanted to use force, Benita would have no chance of escaping. "Tomorrow, I'll take you to resign and move here. You'll be my wife. You don't have to do anything. I can take care of you. I just want a wife, nothing more." Benita bit her lips so hard that it bled. She didn't say anything. She just let him say whatever he wanted until he was satisfied. "Did you understand?" Then go rest. Wake me up early tomorrow." Fortunately, Kem was satisfied after pouring out all his demands. Benita, on the other hand, entered the house in a daze. Every word she heard made her realize that she had no right over her own life. Her mother, the one who gave birth to her, had agreed to sell her to Kem's family for just 100,000 baht. Kem, the childhood friend she grew up with, wanted her to be just a wife locked up inside the house. No one bothered to ask if she wanted it. Benita opened the door to the silent house. Everything was still in disarray, just as it had been after her mother had thrown objects during the fight. Without hesitation, she walked to her room, sat on the edge of her bed, and hugged her knees. He allowed the tears to flow silently. Without sobbing, at that moment, he decided that house was no longer his home. She took a large backpack and put all her important things inside it. What she couldn't take, she would leave behind, and I had no intention of going back to get them. Benita decided to call her best friend, her last hope, the only person she could trust at that moment. Mint answered with a sleepy voice, but when she heard Benita's sobs asking for help, she woke up completely. "It's okay, Bo. Stay calm. Come stay with me first, then we'll figure out what to do." "But aren't you with your girlfriend?" "My girlfriend is a woman. You wouldn't feel uncomfortable about that, right?" "Uncomfortable about what? I'm the one who's afraid of being a nuisance." "Come on now." She said she doesn't mind, in fact, she's already getting ready before me. Hearing this, Benita felt even more like crying. "Yes, I'll wait at the entrance of the alley. Can you come?" "Quickly, Mint." "No, maximum 15 minutes. Benita waited until the noises from next door had died down. Then she hurried out, walking and running to the meeting point. She didn't even have to wait. As soon as she arrived, Mint was already out of the car and pulled her into a tight hug. "It's okay. You have me. You have that scholarship competition tomorrow, don't you? Will you be able to perform in this state?" "Of course. I need to get it. This scholarship is my hope." The scholarship would not only help pay for her studies, but it would also guarantee her a job after graduation. It was a company-linked scholarship that required the recipient to work for the company afterward, but Benita thought it was worth it. Such opportunities didn't come around often, and the position offered wasn't bad either. The messages she had received from her assistant the night before had put Kurafat in a bad mood to start the day. She didn't know all the details yet, but the fact that someone had run away from home in the middle of the night meant that the situation was serious enough that the person couldn't bear it any longer. I'll stick around and get more information. Kurafat trusted his ability to disguise himself and gather information, but she was irritated with herself. After all, even after being rejected like that, she still cared about Benita. She said she doesn't want an older sister. Whatever, that stuck-up girl can do whatever she wants. At the university with her eyes swollen, Benita tried to hide them with makeup and focused on revising her speech for the competition presentation. She didn't sleep all night, and her mind was a mix of feelings. "Are you okay?" Mint was by her side the whole time, afraid that Kem would show up to cause trouble if he found out she had run away. "I am. I just need to go on stage, present everything I know to the judges, hear the results, and then go to sleep." "Wrong. After the result, we will celebrate. Today, you have to win." Benita's heart skipped a beat when she sat down in the seat reserved for the contestants and saw that, at the judges' table, the one sitting at the head of the table was Queen. "From what I've seen, the most promising contenders are Benita and Warathea. What do you think, Mrs. Queen?" The voice of one of the jurors, who had worked with Kurafat for a long time, made her look away from Benita and look at the documents in front of her. "I believe Warathea has more interesting information. If that's what you think, I'll give her my score as the winner." The sudden change in Benita's expression made Kurafat stop tapping her fingers on the table. She hated this side of herself, but who else could she blame but herself? "But Benita's presentation is also very good." "What?" "Judge fairly. You don't have to please me.